my name is Lauren Weiner. I'm the esports coordinator here at Syracuse University. I used to be a student from 2016 to 2020 and then 2020 to 2022 for my master's. And when I was here as a student, I was actually the co-founder of the esports club on campus. So that was before any of this existed, any of the program, the major, the facilities. And I've been able to sort of see it grow up from this little seed into this wonderful tree that we call esports here, and I am very proud of it. So I was always a big gamer kid growing up. 2000s, 2010s, I grew up in a family where my dad was always tinkering with computers back before it was kind of cool to do so, playing with the old PC-ROM games growing up, my little Barbie PCs. And I've always been in a family that's been good at tech and known for tech. My grandfather actually worked for Atari back in the day. So just growing up in that environment has always made me a gamer. So coming to SU, I wanted to engage in that environment, but it just wasn't here yet. There were people who were interested in gaming, but there was no really way to find the other gamers on campus. I was on the first team we had, an unofficial team, the Overwatch team. We sucked, but we played. And that was really the start of me getting into competitive, because I played a lot of single player growing up, some multiplayer, but I was never really into a lot of the gun shooter type games growing up. So getting into that kickstarted my love for, oh, okay, I like this a lot. So as a woman in gaming, I have dealt with a little bit of adversity in my time. There was a competition back when I was a student that we went to in Utica, and I was the president of the entire esports club at that point. And I drove my students there, and we got out of the car, and one of the people from the other teams was chatting with us, like as we were getting the equipment out of the back. He's like, "Oh, so you're the which person are you the girlfriend of?" And I looked at him like, I'm the president. And he said, "Oh," and then walked away. He didn't finish the conversation. Little things like that. There's a lot more examples, but stuff like that has kind of happened throughout my time as a student here, and I have seen other femme-presenting and non-binary presenting students have other issues, but we have a zero tolerance here for any sort of shenaniganry. This is a very inclusive space. It does not matter who you are, what you look like, what you present as, what you know. This is a space for everyone, and I'm going to make sure it's a space for everyone. Dealing with a lot of it myself, you know, being someone who's LGBTQ+, being someone who's neurodivergent, being someone who is a woman in the space, I want to make sure that other femme-presenting people here have the comfort that I wasn't really afforded growing up in the 2000s and 2010s when gaming wasn't really seen as popular. It's a lot more popular now, but back then anime and gaming weren't really the thing, so I got, you know, made fun of a lot. The role of women, non-binary people in the gaming industry is first and foremost just to be regular gamers. Like, there's no difference between a male or a female gamer at its core. It's people who like games. But I also feel like the more recent inclusion of more femme and non-binary people in the space has been able to reverse a lot of more toxic practices that were popular back in the day. A lot of hypersexualization, a lot of specific tropes that were included, a lot of just like hyper-masculine, stereotypical stuff. There are a lot of people who, you know, Gamergate type trolls who will say that it's negative, but I see that women and non-binary people in the space aren't necessarily changing it to be like this big bastion of feminism or whatever. It's more so just changing it to be how it is in real life. Like, diverse people exist, women exist, and including them in games not only is better for representation, but it means that you have different types of stories made by different types of people. And it means that we can have more people to talk about games, but also more people to make games, more unique games, more diverse games, more special games, more games with different storylines and different backgrounds and different life experiences that will make more cool stuff. And hopefully it'll also make the world a little bit more inclusive as well.